Kailey, I mean, still 24 hours on, we had quite a long, extensive news conference yesterday, 24 hours ago. How much progress has been made logistically? And this could have been a lot worse if there hadn't been that Mayday call.
Absolutely, Manus. Of course, it was 7:30 p.m. Eastern last night when the Coast Guard called off the rescue attempts. It is now a recovery operation that has been underway now for about 3 hours this morning. It began at 6 a.m. They are trying to recover these 6 individuals, construction workers who were on the bridge at the time that it collapsed, and try to bring some closure to their families. Maryland Governor Wes Moore said today that is his top priority. Of course, as you allude to, Manus, we also did hear from the governor repeatedly yesterday as well as today about the response of first responders upon receiving that Mayday call, stopping further traffic from coming onto the bridge before it collapsed. That likely saved many lives, but sadly, tragically, it does seem presumably now that 6 lives were lost. Of course, also today, in addition to the recovery effort, which is ongoing, we do expect that the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, will board the vessel and conduct a thorough investigation into what exactly happened on board the Dali before this collision and ultimately the collapse. That investigation will be underway with a 24-person team working on it. And of course, after recovery and investigation, then it is going to be a long effort to clean this up, to physically get this large ship out of the waterway, out of the harbor, and then get all of the debris out of the water as well. It is likely going to be a lengthy period of time before they can reopen the port of Baltimore, which of course is the crucial waterway for imports and exports. And then, of course, reconstruction is a whole other animal, Manus.
Indeed, and that's the point to which Biden spoke about. The politicians are already arguing about the amount of money that was allocated under the Infrastructure Act. Look, this tragedy, and it is a tragedy, shines a light squarely on the delicate nature of the infrastructure, if one can say that, not just in Baltimore, but it's going to become a national issue, isn't it? This spotlight on infrastructure.
Absolutely, Manus. Now, we did hear from the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, on this yesterday. He said there would be no reason for Americans to be concerned about the security of other bridges. Frankly, he said that no bridge is built to withstand a vessel of this size colliding directly into one of its support beams. And Governor Wes Moore also yesterday said that this bridge was up to code. This really ultimately was just a tragic accident, it seems. But yes, definitely puts a spotlight on the infrastructure. And also, when this bridge is reconstructed, how should bridges be different to now better coexist with vessels of the size that we are seeing now in the modern age? That in the way that trade flows are going to be questions we're dealing with in the months and years ahead.
Kailey, thank you very much. Kailey Leinz on the ground in Baltimore. Let's take a look at the economic impact of the bridge's collapse. Mike McKee is with me. Mike, this is from physical coal through to autos. What's the size and the scale of the Port of Baltimore, its impact if it's going to be out of commission, out of usage, let's say, full-scale usage?
Well, it isn't that big of a port, and that's why it won't be a major national impact. Obviously, for the people of Baltimore, it is a major tragedy and will cost a lot of money. But as you can see, there are 8 ports along the East Coast that are fairly large. Baltimore's the 4th largest. And some of those others there in New York, in Norfolk, in Savannah are already taking some of the cargoes that had been destined for Baltimore. So there is relief on the shipping side. It may be important. The most important thing may be how quickly they get that harbor opened again. That's up to the Army Corps of Engineers. But the Port of Baltimore is only the 17th largest U.S. port, and it only handles about 1.6% of U.S. waterborne tonnage. That from the latest figures in 2021. It was the largest port, though, for automobile imports and exports. Savannah has good capability for that, so they may pick up a lot of that business. Maybe some of the real impact would be in rerouting truck traffic through Baltimore. It will slow deliveries in that area, but according to logisticians, is that the word I'm looking for? And the folks at places like FedEx and UPS, they can work around it fairly quickly. There is a question about inflation. This is automobile inflation, new cars and parts. Those prices have been going down. So it does appear that it isn't necessarily going to be a huge problem for inflation. May hold up the inflation numbers for a little bit, but it doesn't seem to be something that is going to be a major impact. So again, for Baltimore, a real tragedy and a real problem, but for the overall U.S. economy, not so much.